Hello again. I bumped into somebody while out walking this morning on playing fields near Loughton who turned out to be a fan of this channel. Hi, Steve. He remarked to me quite truly that the Mayor of London is very keen on renaming streets and removing statues, but that his national origins do not lie in this country. All correct. But let us not forget the previous Mayor of London, the man who is now our Prime Minister. During the whole of his 2 terms as Mayor of London, Boris Johnson held an American passport and was a citizen of that country. What? You didn't know this? It was only when he decided in 2016 to have a crack at trying to become the Premier that he finally relinquished his American passport. He was, of course, born in the United States and lived there as a child. Boris Johnson typifies a problem which nobody discusses publicly. You certainly won't read about it in the mainstream media. But it's nevertheless glaringly obvious to any ordinary person. This is that the main members of the British cabinet cannot trace their ancestry back more than 1 generation before coming across foreign citizenship. This is a little disturbing when looked at in the light of other things. Of the chief members of the cabinet, that is to say the Deputy Prime Minister, Home Secretary, Chancellor of the Exchequer, Health Secretary, Education Secretary, Business Secretary, and the Minister of State for the Cabinet Office, not one of these people has a British father. That is to say, a father born in Britain. Not one. 3 of them were not even themselves born in this country. Of course, foreign ancestry in itself does not lead inexorably to a lack of patriotism, but we must judge these characters by their actions as well as their family backgrounds. We have discovered in the last few days that the Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rishi Sunak, not only has parents who were not born in Britain, but that he also owns a home in California worth £5 million, and that when he became Chancellor he held a green card for many years, which indicates that he was at some point intending to move to America and become an American citizen. That this was likely can be seen by the fact that his wife, who is not British, also held a green card. Clearly, here is a family with little real attachment to this country, and yet the man is in charge of such things as raising our taxes and national insurance contributions. It now comes to light that the present Health Secretary, who also used to be Chancellor of the Exchequer, Saeed Javid, neither of whose parents were born in this country, was not until 2006 domiciled in Britain for tax purposes. This is because his father was Pakistani. In order to gain the status of being non-domiciled, he had to declare that he had no intention of living in Britain permanently. This is the man who went on to become both Home Secretary and Chancellor of the Exchequer, and until 2006 he didn't even know if he wanted to live in this country for good. What one can see clearly when looking at Boris Johnson and his cronies is that they are, to say the least of it, ambivalent about this country. One has the feeling that at the drop of a hat they are liable to go shooting off to live in America, Pakistan or India, after, that is, having done incalculable harm to Britain's economy and political system. Surely I can't be the only one who is uneasy about this. A Prime Minister born in America and who served as a Member of Parliament for years and then Mayor of London while holding American citizenship? A little unusual, no? 2 Chancellors in a row whose fathers were not born in Britain and who show every sign of being quite prepared to move abroad if it suits their financial or personal interests. Even Dominic Raab, former Foreign Secretary and currently Secretary of State for Justice, Lord High Chancellor of Great Britain and Deputy Prime Minister, has a father who was not born in Britain. I'm not suggesting that every member of the cabinet should have pure British ancestry going back centuries, although I'm bound to say that I do, so does my wife and all our friends, but perhaps we might start weeding out of the cabinet people who give the impression of being less than wholeheartedly committed to remaining in this country and devoting themselves to the interests of Britain above all else. I think it was a bad example having a Prime Minister born in America who held an American passport until he was middle-aged. I think perhaps he's kind of set an unfortunate trend there.